Welcome to another episode of Forever Faithful Podcast. I'm Brandon Frenio, joined by my co-host Christian Dyer. How are we doing today, Christian?
Good, man. How about you?
Good. I have a 3-day weekend, so can't complain.
I mean, I got all next week off, so don't start my new job for another week after that. So
there you go, man. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Justin Fields and Mac Jones pro day on Tuesday. You want to go ahead and start off? See what you thought about both players?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that much of pro days, anyways, but I did watch them. It was fun to watch. I think that's really what is the biggest thing for it. I mean, I don't think they mean much, but they're fun to watch. But
yeah,
I mean, Mac Jones didn't do anything different than I already assumed, anyways. It was kind of interesting when you saw like him miss some deep throws, and you see they showed Kyle's face, dude, his face, because he was smiling. He was smiling earlier there, and then all of a sudden they show his face when he missed the deep balls, and it just went to. It went from smiling to oh shit real quick. I mean that's a big deal because we got a guy who can throw the deep ball. We win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Like I don't fully blame Jimmy for that loss, but still, like you freaking make that throw, we win the Super Bowl. So, you got to think about that. Mac Jones wasn't bad in his pro day. I think he didn't really show us anything different. We also kind of got to see the receivers he was thrown to because they were there making the catches and making unbelievable catches the whole time. So, it was interesting. Belichick was there, so that was kind of fun because they were talking a lot. So, they kind of seemed to have a good relationship with that guy. So that was fun to see them bullshitting Belichick. And then when it comes to Fields pro day, he did I think he did what we'd expect him to do. The guy's got a fantastic arm. He's accurate.
Yeah,
he can make all the throws. He's a freaking amazing athlete. So I don't think he showed us anything different either. I think, it's mostly just what we're hearing here and here and there. One thing I caught, though, on watching Fields' pro day, I heard Daniel Jeremiah try to bring up his 2019 tape that knocks him. And I'm like, oh, wait. So we're going to bring up this guy's 2019 tape, but we're going to completely ignore Zach Wilson's 2019 tape. We're going to completely ignore his terrible season he had in 2019 with 9 interceptions and 11 touchdowns and some pretty terrible quarterback ratings throughout the season. But, let's knock Justin Fields' 2019 play a little bit. Like, that's a double standard I freaking caught real quick. And I was like, well, those double standards and the way we treat certain quarterbacks is the reason why we have so many busts and have so many freaking issues trying to find a quarterback, especially when you draft them high, thinking they're going to be, the best. And then we do it every year. Look at Trubisky, had a pretty good year at what was it, North Carolina Tar Heels, so then he goes high and he does nothing. He's a bust because he had one good year of all, smoke and mirrors year, and he turned out to be nothing. And that's what we do all the time. We find these guys that that we aren't sure about, but are great athletes, and you've seen them do some crazy stuff, and then all we try to do is bring them down and knock them down the whole time. Like, freaking people have been shitting on Fields the last couple of days, and my mind is blown. I'm like, dude, the guy's he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Mm-hmm. He was neck and neck when they were with Trevor Lawrence in high school, the two of the best quarterbacks, and they're both from the same area. They're both from Georgia, so. They've been going back and forth since high school, and he's, been a pretty, good quarterback. I mean, he has his issues and whatnot, but I think it's kind of crazy to see how much like certain quarterbacks get shit on while the other ones just get praised, when the ones that the one that deserves the praise are the ones that get shit on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right. But also, just especially when you got like some of these guys and like people on Twitter or whoever it is are shitting on these players other than their game. Like I saw that the other day where people are like, talking crap on Mac Jones has nothing to do with his game, and I mean, like, shit on these guys' games all you want. I mean, dude, nobody shits more on freaking Zach Wilson's game more than me, but I would never say anything about his personal life or anything like that or bring anything personal to it. Like people like talking all this crap about Mac Jones and personal things. I'm like, that's so uncalled for and isn't right, and it needs to stop. Like if you're not going to talk about their game, don't say anything at all. Like, I mean, these guys are still kids. They're freaking 20, 21 years old, and you're freaking, like, leave them alone. If you're not going to talk about their game, don't talk about anything.
I mean, look at Justin Fields last year against Trevor Lawrence and Clemson. I mean, he looked phenomenal against them.
He outplayed him by a big margin. Trevor Lawrence looked terrible against Ohio State, and freaking I did not expect Fields to do that against Clemson, and I expected Trevor Lawrence to come out and ball, and he didn't. So, I just think I'm not sure why all of a sudden people are crapping on Fields. I don't get it, but
makes sense.
I haven't been that much of a fan of the quarterbacks in this draft, but I still don't get like how a guy that goes from being one of the best prospects playing great at Ohio State and then just people finding things to nitpick.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a guy who went from a mid-round guy to a freaking first rounder and then you don't even nitpick the stuff that he's done terribly. Like you just use one season and like, oh, we're just going to go with this season and he's all of a sudden great because he did this year.
Got one from Joey Ornato. Teams trying to make Fields fall by putting out negative narratives. Okay,
maybe that could be true. There's some shady stuff that goes on in these drafts because of the fact that these teams don't talk with each other and ask what they're doing and they don't give away their hand. That makes sense. Maybe they're trying to stop the Niners from maybe drafting him.
They're probably trying to make Fields fall to Atlanta.
That's a possibility, but at the same time, I think it's a waste of your time. Like if a team wants the guy, they're going to get the guy. It doesn't matter. Like exactly. It doesn't matter if that's their guy, they're going to take him regardless of what anybody else says because they're not going to change their mind. I mean, so it makes sense to say that they're doing it so he can drop, but at the same time, it's there. It's just I think just to make this. What's the reason for it? Yeah, I guess the best way to put it.
And we got one from JTT843. Mac Jones 2 DUIs were uncalled for. Yeah, they're bringing Mac Jones's pass when he was 19 up now too. So it's crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't care about that. He had 2 DIs when he was a kid. Like,
I know.
A kid, he's doing something stupid, but so that means, like, I'm sorry, but like, I know Niner fans don't want him to be taken at 3, and I get that, but I don't care they had 2 DUIs. I mean, that's in the past. What that has nothing to do with football.
Yep.
Like, I mean, they just bring up stuff that is gonna try to tarnish their character. I'm like, you guys, and then it's funny because they're trying to tarnish these young guys' character while at the same time they're going to turn around and be mad that Deshaun Watson's character is being tarnished right now. And then go turn around and tarnish a young guy who hasn't even gotten to the league yet and try to tarnish his character. So I don't get it. Because if this whole thing with Watson didn't go down, I guarantee he was going to be a Niner. And a lot of people think that. I was watching Shannon Sharp talking about it. He's like, if Watson stayed clean, he that pick all those picks he gave up to go to 3, we're going to go for Watson.
Yeah, I have a feeling too. Like 2 first rounds. I mean, if they would have gotten it for Watson, he would have been a Niner for sure.
Yeah, I think if the whole allegation thing didn't come out, I think he would have been a Niner for sure. Yeah. I think that's why our trade up for 3 happened, not long after that stuff came out, because I think they were going to try to get Watson once that came out. They decided to go in a different direction.
Yep.
So, but if you look at that, if you think about that too, if we were trying to get Watson, why would our guy to move up if we were going from Watson and had to move off of because non-football reasons? Why would we be going for a guy like Mac Jones if we were trying to get Watson? So if you're trying to get Watson and you can't get him, then you're either going to get Trey Lance or you're going to get Justin Fields, because those are the two guys closest to his game. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And another thing too is I don't know why they keep saying the Niners. I'm not saying Mac Jones is a bad quarterback, but I'm just saying it doesn't make sense for the Niners to switch up to 3 to go for Mac Jones when I guarantee you he would have been available at 12.
Oh yeah, I think he would have. I think now where the Niners are at, he wouldn't be, because it kind of shook up the whole draft thing. But if we were in the same order, I think he would have dropped.
Yeah,
I think you can't say that now because the Niners moved up and he wouldn't make it to 12 now that the Niners are at 3. Mm-hmm. But if the Niners stay at 12, I think he drops. But I don't see how we would be going up to get Mac Jones. I think the best way to make Niner fans feel better about it is, and you think about it, you tell me when anybody's been right when it comes to who Shanahan and Lynch are going to pick. I'm pretty sure what is this year? 4th or 5th year?
This is. They came in.
Is this year 5?
I think so.
In every single draft, have we even come close to the first round pick, other than Bosa? Bosa's the only one, but that was a given. Like, you weren't going to not draft Bosa. So,
yep.
I mean, every other pick last year. I mean, I didn't see Hyder coming. I didn't see Ayuk. Nobody saw Ayuk coming.
I didn't even see Kinlaw coming.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't, everybody's saying it's going to be Mac Jones, but I don't get it. We've never been correct. Oh, yeah, Joey Arenado, that you're totally correct. I mean, if you're going to trade that much, you don't trade it for a guy that's not, a freaking difference maker. Like, yeah, can Mac Jones throw the football well and whatnot? Yeah, but is he a difference maker who can extend the play outside the pocket and make things happen when plays break down and extend plays in big drives? No, he's not that kind of guy. So I don't see how you give up 2 first-round picks for a guy who can't be a difference maker outside of just playing the quarterback position. Because there's playing the quarterback position and being able to play that well, then there's being able to freaking improvise and do stuff when the freaking pocket breaks down and you got to make something happen.
Yep.
And, all the best quarterbacks right now in the league are the guys that when the pocket breaks down, they make something happen. Josh Allen, freaking, this past year, absolutely a freaking monster outside of the pocket.
Yep. Especially against Monday Night Football.
Oh, dude, he had torched us Monday Night Football. So you're telling me Kyle Shanahan didn't watch that and go, oh, man, I need me one of those guys.
Yep.
He's had to go against Russell Wilson every single year. You're telling me, like, oh, yeah, well, Russell torches us with his legs every time. It's not because, it's not because he stands in the pocket and beats us. It's because every time we try to get to him and he gets away. That's every time we've ever lost to the Seahawks in a close game. It's because Russell Wilson gets away when we almost have him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see how it's not Lance or Fields, but I wouldn't be that surprised if it's Mac Jones, but I don't see why they would do that.
Yeah, well, just like what 49ers Twitter is saying, with the game against the Bills last year, it opened up Kyle Shanahan's eyes to actually go for a mobile quarterback in the draft.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'm really I have a 99.9% like positivity that they're going to go for Fields.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Justin Fields. I mean, even in the Super Bowl, we were dominating, but they were able to come back because of the plays that Mahomes is able to make with his legs, like extending plays.
Well, I mean, look at him. What was it last year or 2 years ago? His little left-handed throw that he did too on the run. I'm just like,
Yeah.
we need somebody like that.
Yeah, you got to have a difference maker in today's NFL. Like
Yeah.
those kind of quarterbacks are taking over. Like, yeah, Mac
Yeah.
Jones could probably stand in the pocket and make things happen, but you're going to have to make damn sure you protect him.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to protect him. Like, he's not going to, wow you with making plays outside the pocket. He might be able to make a couple runs here and there and extend some plays with his legs here and there, but that's what Jimmy did before the ACL injury. So,
Yeah.
you're pretty much telling me that the Niners gave up two first-round picks next year and the year after for a guy that's pretty much Jimmy G before the ACL injury. I don't understand.
If that was the case, they would just stick with Jimmy. Think about it.
I mean, yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
Joey says, y'all remember the 2019 game against Lamar? He torched us with that read option. We need that element. I agree.
Oh, I 100% agree. I mean, the only reason we stayed in that game was because was it who's our safety? Was it it was our backup safety that stripped the ball, if you remember, from him. He had that big read, and then about in the 10-yard line, was it Marcel Harris? Yeah, Marcel Harris, I think.
Marcel Harris
stripped the ball from Lamar. Otherwise, that game would have been a lot less close than it was. Like, that was a difference maker. I mean, he was torching us with his legs.
Yeah, that was a crazy game too. It was in the rain as well.
So, I mean, if you really want a guy like that, it's got to be Fields, because Fields he's fast. He can make those plays with his legs, but at the same time, he's not Lamar because he's a lot more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do want to see some more opportunity with him making, going through his progressions and making reads. But, that's been apparently a big knock on him. But one of the biggest games of his career, which was against Clemson, which is the best game I've ever seen him play, he was finding guys in his third and fourth read. I mean, you can watch the film and see that. Yeah. So it's not like he can't do it. But at the same, I think that happens a lot though with these really top level schools with the quarterbacks is they have so much talent around him that they don't have to go through their other reads. They do have to. They can just kind of stick with a one or two guy and make the play just because they're playing with some of the best athletes in the in college football. So maybe that's a knock against them. But I mean, I don't think Fields is any different than the rest of the guys when it comes to making reads. I mean, I'm hearing some film breakdown about Lance though that he's pretty good at making reads, but he's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
I still don't know enough about his game. I haven't really seen anything.
I need to start watching his film more, see what he has.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to go back to the 2019. Well, I think they won the championship for their division, I think, but that school kind of does every year. I think Carson Wentz did when he went there too. So,
yeah.
But I did see something today that Lance was able. He was kind of like allowed to audible and stuff and make changes at the line. I don't know if that's true. I saw something. That'd be interesting to see, because if that's the case, see why I would take him. I mean, if that's a guy already able to do that in college, that's a huge step, like ready to come in and play in the NFL, because there's not many quarterbacks that can just come step in and play and dominate, like who can go and like know the playbook and do what they got to do, and make the adjustments themselves. You don't see many Dan Marinos anymore. You don't see many quarterbacks that can do that right off the bat. That's why Dan Marino is so great. I mean, he could know the playbook and he could change everything in the line by himself. So maybe that's what Shanahan, if that's what he's seen with Lance, I could see why that he would go with Lance. I just don't know enough about him.
Yeah.
But I know another thing I want to talk about was some of the more double standard stuff I'm seeing with some of these quarterbacks. Though it's like I've been telling Niner fans from the get go since we started doing this that they need to go and watch Wilson's 2019 film, and they need to really see what I'm talking about when I say his bad decisions and his how he panics in a good pass rush, and when he's been getting hit a lot, he doesn't play as well, he doesn't make his reads as well.
Yeah.
And then nobody listens to me, but then I see everybody so mad, they're so mad about Mac Jones, and they don't want Mac Jones to go to the Niners, so they're like, well, how come a guy that was a late first round, second round pick, all of a sudden he's one of the a top 5 pick? Well, what do you think happened with Wilson? Wilson went from a mid round guy, like a freaking day 3 guy possibly, to the second overall quarterback taken in the draft, the number 2 guy, in a year where he went against like some of the least competition you could ever go against, compared to 2019 where he was terrible and went against top competition. But they're mad that Mac Jones, who just won the national championship, was a Heisman finalist, and done what I've seen better done by any other Alabama quarterback in a while, and that's just play good regardless and not get shut down. Like Tua, he had to get replaced. At times. Hurts had to get replaced at times. Like all these other Alabama quarterbacks that have been good having to get replaced at times so that freaking Alabama can come back and win. Mm-hmm. Mac Jones just dominated everybody. And you're mad saying, how can he go from an early second round pick to the top guy, but then you don't have a problem with Zach Wilson going from freaking round 4 or 5 to the second overall quarterback? Like, no, don't if you're going to freaking do one, do the other. Like, none of this freaking hypocritical crap. Like, you're going to hold one to this one standard, hold to the other one to the same standard.
Yeah.
Like, Mac Jones is oh, go ahead, buddy.
I was just going to say, I feel like with Mac Jones, they're all upset because he's just another pocket quarterback. And I think they want more of a mobile quarterback for us. And I feel like that's maybe one of the reasons why everybody's all mad about it. But Joey said they didn't have a problem with Burrow doing that last year.
I know. I mean, at the same time, I think during that season, though, before the season started, Burrow was like nobody. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't think he did it after the season. All of a sudden, he went to number 1. He was going to be number 1 halfway through the season with the season he was having. It's not like after the season they said Burrow's a mid-round guy, and then now all of a sudden, after just watching some film, he's a first-round guy. Like, he halfway through the season, and he was going to be the first overall pick. I mean, the guy had just an absolutely phenomenal season. I mean, mm-hmm. he freaking did everything. I mean, I can't believe the season he had that year. He earned the right to be the first overall pick. He earned it because he had it. He had that before the season was over. That's so true. I get what you're saying. I get you're saying that they they don't have a problem with Burrow, but I think it's a different circumstance because Burrow we were halfway through the season and we knew he was going to be the number 1 overall pick. Mm-hmm. When you have a quarterback playing like that, they're always going to be number 1 overall pick because the top commodity in the NFL is a quarterback. So we knew that. With like Mac Jones, we assumed he'd probably be a late first round guy, and then now all of a sudden we're watching film and things are changing. Now he's a top 5 guy. After we already passed through the season and had his draft grade and where he was ranked in the top 50 players and stuff. He was, all of a sudden he's moving up. That's the same, the same thing with Wilson. All of a sudden after the season, so I don't know where it started. All of a sudden he was like the next great thing after the season was over. So, somebody apparently watched some film and all of a sudden he got popular, I guess. Yeah. I don't really know how it started, but that's the thing is that's why I don't feel comfortable with guys that after somebody watched some film and said, thinks that he's all of a sudden going to be great. Well, more times than not, it doesn't work out. I mean, I was watching First Take this morning, and they literally said the same thing. Like, more times than not, these top picked quarterbacks don't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we have 4 go right off the bat, I mean, we'll be lucky to even see 2 still be in the league 10 years from now. So, that's the biggest reason I have a problem with moving up that far, because unless you're getting a for sure thing type quarterback,
mm-hmm.
which it's never a for sure thing, but sometimes you kind of know. But with so much uncertainty with these quarterbacks, I didn't think it was worth it, because, and even, you don't even, as good as Lawrence is, I mean, I don't even know if he has the same certainty that, like Andrew Luck had, that Peyton Manning had, stuff, that, like Elway had.
Mm-hmm.
So you get those guys, but I'm not even sure any of the guys in this draft are at that level. Lawrence is probably the closest to it, obviously, but for not being a for sure thing, like, that's why, like, the reason I don't want Wilson is because he's of all the quarterbacks, I know him the best. I've watched him play for the last 3 years. Like, I know his game. So he, for me, is like the guy I know, and that's why I'm so hard, because I watched him and I understand it. I didn't just watch a freaking smoke and mirror season and all of a sudden fall in love with him like everybody else.
Yeah.
The other guys I watch here and there in big games, because they're on national TV.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit of it, but I don't trust taking any of these guys. I don't want Wilson because I know his game, but the other guys I know a little bit, and I still don't feel all that confident. But I'm kind of the odd man out in that situation.
Yeah, I feel like everybody on the Hive is, I mean, they want Fields, but they also like Wilson too, just like you said in the last podcast.
And not one of them has looked at his stats from 2019 or gone and even seen any of his film from 2019. Not one of them.
Yep.
Because if they did, they would be thinking differently. I guarantee it.
Well, it's funny too, because even a lot of these analysts are saying the same thing about Wilson as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's weird. I feel like the only analyst I've seen, which it doesn't really make my point helpful when you think about it, the only guy that seems to be wary and kind of like somewhat, I think, would side with me is Bayless and Skip, dude. Like, it has to be Skip, so then that kind of makes it like it doesn't matter, because that guy's a freaking buffoon half the time. But some of the things he's been saying about, it's weird. This is the probably first time I've ever agreed with a guy. Like, some of the things he's been saying about the quarterbacks in this draft, I actually agree with. I don't trust him. I don't think you're taking a big risk, I think, with some of these guys, and then, he even said he's not sold with Zach Wilson, kind of referring to his older tape and, playing the competition that he's played. Like, because I know people don't think that's a big deal, but it's a big deal.
Yeah.
When you go from one season playing, Power 5 schools and some of the best players, especially some of the best players in the like defensive players in the nation, to playing freaking a bunch of scrubs the next year, of course you're going to progress.
Yep.
When you go in 2019, he played, Julian Blackmon and Johnson, two defensive backs for Utah, who were like studs in their rookie seasons for their NFL teams. Jalen Johnson. So it was Jalen Johnson, Julian Blackmon. And then you go, and so he was playing good talent because those guys both were studs for their teams this year. And then you go and play guys who probably never going to even get a sniff from the NFL. Like, that's like playing, going and playing from playing, college football, hard-nosed college football to flag football the next season, and then calling it the same thing.
Yep. Exactly. I know, but did you see earlier today that Fields is going to have another pro day, and it sounds like Shanahan and Lynch are going to be there?
Yeah, I think that they're the reason it's getting set up in the first place. Like, I guess they have to have other teams, and it can't just be like a personal one. But I think the Niners are behind setting it up. Like, I think they're the ones that reached out to his agent to set it up, and then to reach out so the agent could reach out to other teams and set one up. Because I think regardless, even if they know who they want, they're still doing their due diligence, because your mind can change within a month. Like, they might have their mind made up, and they're like, you know what, we're going to do our due diligence and see everybody. Because I've heard they want another pro day from Trey Lance too. So
that's true.
Those are their three guys. Those are the three guys that, they weren't even. They didn't even. I think. Well, John Lynch went to Wilson's, but Shanahan didn't. So that tells me all I need to know, because like Shanahan has the final say.
That's true.
So if Shanahan's not there, if Shanahan's not seeing one of those quarterbacks, and I know even if they're there, I don't think that he would take him. Like, I don't think he would take Wilson. I don't think he cares for Wilson. I bet you.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I think Saleh's taking him at 2.
Yeah, I do too. That's why, I mean, it's the Jets, so the dumpster fire is going to take.
Yeah, exactly.
gonna take a quarterback like that. They're going to take the smoke and mirrors guy. So I feel bad because I really like Saleh. Like, it's funny to watch the Jets burn, but now it's kind of, I feel bad for saying that, because I really like Saleh and want to see him succeed.
Yep.
So I'm glad that he takes him, so I don't have to worry about us taking him. But then I feel bad because I really want to see the Jets succeed under Saleh. So it's kind of a catch-22 for me.
Yeah,
I guess you could say. So, I mean, if I'm the Jets, I would be taking Penei Sewell, but they're not going to. They're going to take Wilson. If there's any team that goes with what the majority thinks, and they're going to do what everybody thinks, it's the Jets. So, like, if everybody's saying they're going to take him and it's a lock, the Jets are going to take him, just because of the fact that they're supposed to.
So Joey said Steve Young said today the Jets are committed to Wilson.
That, he might have some inside stuff if he, just for the fact that he's a BYU alumni, and maybe stuff like that. Maybe he's hearing from a certain person, and I think that's fine with me.
Steve Young was actually on KMBR's podcast today, talking about who the Niners should end up going after, and he was also saying they should go after somebody that's like a mobile quarterback and that could throw on the run and stuff, and not go after somebody like Mac Jones, who's another pocket passer type thing. So I mean, I saw it on Twitter earlier today. So
I'm going to ask you this: who's the last? What kind of quarterback was the last quarterback that won the Super Bowl for the 49ers? The guy who could throw the ball on the run and make things happen with his legs.
And when was the last time?
Maybe it's time to repeat that. And who, so when they say Kyle doesn't like those guys, I don't get it. Mike Shanahan, before he was with the Broncos, who do you think he was working with?
Yeah,
Steve Young.
Exactly.
He started obviously with the Niners in the 80s, and he was working with Steve Young before he went and started coaching the Broncos. So, I mean, and obviously a running quarterback with a good arm can do wonders with Shanahan. I mean, look what Shanahan did with RG3. Like, RG3 doesn't get injured, and Washington's whole thing is completely different, because Shanahan freaking took him and had a rookie of the year season under Shanahan's offense.
And they made playoffs too, didn't they?
Yeah,
as well.
They were the wild card, and then they I think that's when the injury started in that wild card game for RG3 against Seattle.
Yeah,
and then it just he got a little injured, came back in. I don't know if he pulled a hammy or what it was, and then his injury woes just got worse from there, and he was just never the same guy.
Yep. So I also want to bring up real fast. The Niners re-signed Mohamed Sanu. They brought him back, and then they also signed Nate Jerry. Why do you think they brought back Sanu?
I mean, we don't really have a veteran guy in the receiving core, really. I mean, we don't. None of our guys are anywhere close. Ayuk is in his second year. Debo's in his third year.
Yep.
Kittle's the closest we have. He's in what, year 4 or 5? I think this is going into year 5.
Yeah.
Year 5. Yeah, this is because so he's going into year 5. So he's the closest, but we don't have a veteran guy that's been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have one of those guys to see your receiving core mature and to see a difference. So I think Mohamed Sanu, obviously, I think he's coming in to be kind of like very much a mentor and like a coach to those guys.
Yeah.
Because those guys already look up to him, so they're like, well, Ayuk already made a freaking connection with Sanu, so why not bring the guy back that our young receiver is, who's going to be a stud that already feels comfortable with. So I think they brought him back, and I think he stays on the roster because we need a guy to fill in for receiver 3, and I think that's something Sanu can do. I think he can play in the slot and maybe get open on some downs.
I think so too.
So I think we have a roster spot for him this time. So I think because of that, he'll stay on the 53-man roster, but he'll really be there for some more support for the younger guys and to coach them up. And you need a guy like that. You need a guy that's been through it. And when the young guys make mistakes, to be there and talk to them and comfort them and stuff, and make them not let them get in their head. So I think I really like this new pickup just for the fact that the guys love him. I mean, both Ayuk and Debo, they both love him. So why not bring the guy that your young guys already look up to? And that was a smart move. That was a smart, calculated move by the Niners, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at the 2019 season, they brought in Emmanuel Sanders, and look how quickly Debo changed.
Dude.
I mean, like, you could tell that having Emmanuel there helped out Debo with the rest of the season.
Big time. I mean, he progressed a lot thanks to Sanders. So I think the Niners, I'm sure they were going to try to sign one veteran guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they looked into bringing back Sanders, but Sanders is going to be a little more expensive because he got some money, I think, from Buffalo.
He did.
So and then Sanu's obviously a lot cheaper. So I think that's why they went with Sanu. For those reasons too, that Sanders was going to cost too much. But I like having Sanu in there just as much as having Sanders. Just a veteran that's been through it. Sanu's been and lost a Super Bowl, so he's been there.
Exactly.
So I think it was a good signing for sure. And then the other guy, I don't really know about his game, the Jerry guy.
Hey, Jerry.
I heard he just struggled with the Eagle system. I mean, the Eagles are freaking shit shows, so I get that. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how he is, but I don't know enough about him.
We got Joey over here. Y'all still on the Jalen Hurd train?
Yes.
Yes.
Only thing holding him back is some injuries. If he stays healthy, oh, dude, I was excited last year. I was freaking jumping out of my seat for that guy, dude. That guy is a freaking Swiss Army knife. He could do everything, and he just can't. But he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Dude, I guarantee if he stays healthy, he's going to be all over the field doing all kinds of just everything, dude. Kyle's going to just be like,
dude, and he has the height as well. It's like,
But dude, I almost feel like with Jalen Hurd in there, it turns into a sleight of hand offense. Watch this guy doing this while this guy's, dude, all the schemes. If he comes in that offense, I mean, there's a reason why Kyle has not let him go even with those injuries. Because if he actually plays, the schemes that Kyle's going to come up with for that guy are going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, it's literally either the second or the last preseason game is where he gets hurt, and then done for the season. The past 2 years, it's been like that, and it's just like, damn, you've been waiting like literally all season, to see him, and then he gets hurt.
If he stays healthy, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, he can do everything. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we hand the ball off of to him in the backfield. You know, all kinds of stuff. Just so many packages for him I can see happening just because he's just an all around amazing athlete and can just do everything. So I'm excited. I mean, as much as the end around and the reverse works with Debo, you add Hurd with Debo.
Yeah.
And then I just think if we can get that, I mean, if we can get those guys going and get, all that trickery with an offense like that, where so much trickery, I think like Kittle, he's gonna just completely have a just dominant season if these other receivers and stuff stay healthy and our running backs stay healthy.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's at quarterback, whether it's the rookie or Garoppolo, I think that if we can start scheming with these guys staying healthy, like with Hurd coming back, and if he stays healthy, I think Kittle will just freaking excel with what the offense will give him, because, I mean, there'll be so much stuff going on and you're going to lose focus and lose Kittle behind the linebackers, and he's just going to be open all the time.
Yeah, you won't be seeing any double coverage on Kittle if everybody else is in that scheme,
Well, you think that the corners and even the linebackers that are trying to cover, they're going to be running back and forth, because there's going to be so much motion with these guys, and it's just going to freaking leave Kittle wide open.
Yeah. Jalen in the big slot role, running seams with Kittle is my dream.
Oh, dude. Kittle runs them seams amazing. So, I like seeing Kittle even do the wheel from the tight end spot and do the wheel with those guys. If you got the freaking guys like Jalen in the slot, or if Debo's having a big game and it opens up Kittle on a seam or even a wheel route. I mean, even the wheel routes with Juice, when other guys are freaking when they're balling, everybody's open. When we're balling and the freaking schemes are working, everybody's open. Because there's just too much to worry about. If Jalen Hurd's in there too, and you got all that movement, you got to worry about Mostert breaking it because he can just find one little hole and he's gone. Then you got to worry about Juice. He can do everything. Then you got to worry about Kittle. Then you got to worry about Ayuk going deep. Then you got to worry about freaking Debo catching a slant and running you over. So it's like all those things to worry about.
Yeah,
like exactly. We already have. That's why I don't see how it could be Mac Jones when your defense is like crap. We have all these guys to worry about, all these possibilities with all this motion, and on top of that, we got to worry about this quarterback getting out of the pocket and burning us with his legs.
Yeah.
You add one more element. What is the defense supposed to do? Their heads are going to be spinning.
Seriously, it's complete facts. I mean, dude, you add Fields or even Trey Lance, like you said, to that offense, dude. Offense is no words for that, man. It's gonna be phenomenal.
Dude, and like with Fields, with the speed that we know he has too. Like, I mean, I don't want him running that much. And I hope when he does, he runs out of bounds and slides and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, with a guy with that kind of speed, I mean, with all that stuff going on, I mean, if you get him out of the hole and you leave him one little piece of space, he's turning that into a big game, and that's what we don't have right now. And I know that could make a difference. Like, if we had a quarterback like that in the Super Bowl with that run game we were having, it would have been a blowout. It would have been 40. Yeah. It would have been, we'd have put up 40, 50 points.
We would have won that game too. And especially with a quarterback that could throw deep balls and make an accurate pass.
Yep.
Put it over,
Yeah. So for me, it's taken me a little bit longer to start liking some of these quarterbacks, but the more I think about it and the more I think about our offense, I'm starting to fall in love with Fields a little more.
Me too.
The more I kind of look at his game, the more I see. That's what I'm hoping, just because when I think about the possibilities of what our offense could do with a guy like that, are endless. And the reason I don't have a problem with him, even if he's struggles a little bit with his reads, if that's really a thing, and he has a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't think it matters as much in Kyle Shanahan's offense because there's so much going on that it always makes the receiver open. And if the receiver's open, Fields is going to give him the ball. But I think too that with all that on top of the defense having to worry about like Fields is burning him with his legs, there's receivers are just going to be open.
Yeah, that's very true, and especially with everybody already knowing that we have a running game as well, it's going to confuse people when you think Fields might go for a run and he ends up passing it. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude. Yeah, with all that speed from Mostert, think about, how much in Kyle's offense does he like to get either the slot guy or Kittle coming across, and we do that little small short bootleg and get them, and because we scheme them open on that little bootleg, and freaking one of either Debo or Kittle or whoever takes a short pass like that and takes it for big yardage, because after they catch it, there's so much room for them to run afterwards. And Kyle really likes running those freaking kind of skinny bootlegs. I guess I'd call them. Where you roll the quarterback out off the play action, and then you're either having the slot guy or Kittle follow him, and he's wide open. I don't know how many times we ran that, even with Jimmy, but you get a guy like that who is doing that, and then the defense is scared that the guy can take off and run if there's a hole. On top of him trying to pass that, and then knowing too, we already know that when it comes to a play like that, Fields excels extremely well, and he's really accurate on those throws. Like to me, like every time I watch an under game, that almost feels like Kyle's favorite play.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that similar to the one where Kittle freaking went beast mode on the Rams? I mean, not the Rams, the Saints. When he on the fourth down, Jimmy kind of rolled out a little bit and hit Kittle in the flat.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know if Kittle wasn't. I don't think Kittle was cutting across that time. He may have been on that side. He was running the flat.
On that side.
But still, like you get the quarterback rolling out and running with the receiver, and they're open. Like Kyle loves getting our quarterback out on the run, and I'd like they're saying he wants a pocket passer, but I mean, I don't know how many plays I see where he wants a quarterback rolling out and freaking making a throw. If they can do it.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly right. The last thing I want to talk about with you, man, is what do you think about the 17 game extension for season?
I mean, I guess I'm going back and forth. I mean, I get because I've heard that it was obviously in the CBA and stuff. They agreed to it, so I get that, and I get you're a professional and you guys are part of the CBA. You voted for it and whatnot, so you saw it coming. You knew it was coming, so they should be prepared for it. But I also kind of get the player side too. They decided to do it this year, but yet they shrunk the salary cap. And I don't know if people pay attention to how, shrinking the salary cap makes it harder for teams to sign all their guys, but it also takes money out of those guys' pockets as well. Like they cannot get paid as much because of the salary cap. So I get it, but you're also, paying less money in a year that you're expanding the regular season.
Yeah.
It's going to bring a lot of money and and it's fun because we get an extra game for us fans. But at the same time, as a fan, personally, no, I'd rather keep it at 16 because we have enough injuries as it is, and it's a freaking
that's true
tough enough game, and teams have a hard enough time getting through the season.
Yep.
And as much as the way the injuries destroyed our season last year, I just an extra game makes me nervous as a fan because I don't want our guys to get beat up. And
yeah,
it takes here. one play to end careers and stuff. And you just add another game. I get it's for the money, and it's cool. And maybe these guys get paid more because of the extra game, whatever. But for me, I'd rather not see these guys do that. See, extra bye week. I don't see why you'd have one game in an extra bye week. That doesn't.
I think for
makes sense.
Thinking a lot of people were wondering if they're going to add an extra bye week when they extended the season. I could kind of see it because it's more, I guess you could say, more rest for the players, so injuries won't happen. But
I see maybe I see maybe if they eventually get to 18 games, then maybe they do 2 bye weeks, because then you do within the first 9-week span, you do 1 bye week, and then in the second 9-week span, you do another bye week.
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
see them doing it. Maybe not with 17, but if they expand it to 18, then I could see 2 bye weeks, because then it technically, you extend the season like 3 by 2 extra weeks or so, or whatever. You add another game, you get 2 extra weeks of football. So I could see them doing that too. Because the more football they play, the more revenue they're going to make. So I could see them eventually getting to 18 games and then getting an extra bye week. But I'm not sure if having 17 games. I was going to say, I'm not sure if having 17 games is what's in the CBA, or if in this CBA they can also add 18, or if they can't add 18 until the next CBA. So I don't really know how all that works, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get to 18 eventually.
Yeah, I think because I know they also cut back on the preseason games too. And instead of having 4, they have 3 now. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, really, you think about it, really doesn't matter too much, because a lot of the rookies and everybody are playing more towards second, third week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. I like it, but then from players' perspective, like you said, I feel for them, with especially if injury wise, it'd be bad because it's more of a chance of getting injured.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely though we learned this year that you need the preseason. We didn't have a preseason this year, and look at all the injuries we got. Like, guys,
very true.
Need I think the preseason. You need the snaps to kind of get into the motions. So I think not having a preseason is a big reason we had so many injuries this year. So I think we still need the preseason. I get making it 1 less, because by the 4th game, those starters aren't even playing. It's really to give the young guys a chance to see if they're able to make something happen. So I get doing it less. We'll have to kind of see how it goes. Football's the only sport that hardly plays any games in the season, but you're literally getting the crap beat out of you constantly, nonstop. So
we're definitely gonna have to see. It's gonna be the first time since 1978 that they expanded the season.
It's been a really long time.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have to see how that goes. But I think that's gonna do it for us, guys. Please hit that bell and hit that subscribe button for us on our YouTube page, and then also give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter FFPod49 and Instagram Forever Faithful Podcast. And go ahead and leave us comments on all those, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace, guys.